Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon, way down in Nashville.
Billy Spitfire Unlimited.
And go ahead, John.
John Esterly with Rare Buzz Effects.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. This is a very special episode for us. This is episode 300.
We're Spartans! 300.
Yes.
That's right.
We are 300
Yeah.
strong.
It's, I cannot believe it is 300. I honestly, it's like, that's kind of mind-boggling. Considering where we started, which was, you know, just like, hey, let's talk about some guitar stuff. I mean, there was a plan at the beginning, but I was excited when we started, and I'm just as excited now. I'm more excited. I'm 10 times as excited. I'm 300 times excited. So
You figured it out, my friend.
that's a lot of excitement. I know, too much to handle. We hope that you are listening for the 300th time, or even just the first time. Either one, we're fine with that.
Yeah.
And if you are listening to us for the first time, Tony,
Yes, Todd.
as you've said so many times on the show, what do we do on the show?
Well, you know, Todd, we really like to talk about gear. Maybe more importantly, we like to talk to people who make this gear. And this is boutique gear. This is stuff like guitars and amps and pedals and accessories. All the good stuff all the time.
And 101.
And just as Jared
we're
said,
planning some 101s, actually.
we got 101s. We also talk to movers and shakers and authors and all the people.
And candlestick makers.
No candlestick makers. No, not on this podcast.
So that's a very fair assessment, Tony. If you are listening, welcome. And we hope you enjoy the backlog of all the episodes as you start to catch up on those. And if we have so many longtime listeners out there, and we're thrilled that you're listening too.
Can I do mustard on those?
On the episodes?
You said ketchup.
Wow, you guys are swinging low. So, anyways,
I relish those days.
okay.
There it is.
We need to
pickle and
thank
relish
a
those
few
days.
people as we're doing this nonsense here. And first and foremost is
Roll!
That's right. We need to thank Rode for providing this awesome audio equipment that we've been using for so long. We are grateful for them just making really awesome stuff to begin with, but then also for sharing that with us. So there's that aspect of things. And I also want to just give a ginormous thank you to all of those who have been supporting us on Patreon and otherwise. Not everybody can support on Patreon, but they support with their kind words and just involvement in the show, and that's
Absolutely.
also greatly appreciated. It really is. I have on my wall at home where I do all the editing and stuff, I have all the things that I've been sent, messages and everything, letters that come in little boxes and stuff, and those are all pasted up on the wall because they mean a lot. All right, we got some stuff we got a lot of stuff to just share about, and you may have noticed there isn't a guest tonight. Everybody, sorry to break it to you, but we just wanted to get together and just kind of have a little bit of a round table, do what we normally do, but then just talk about the show a little bit and what we're excited about coming up and all that good stuff. Okay, Tanya, we're going to start out with you.
Okay.
And then we're going to just go around the horn.
Well, this week, you know, I seem to remember from a couple of episodes ago, I think one of the guys from Eventide is sponsored by D'Angelico Guitars.
Yeah.
Or endorsed, whatever that terminology is, you know. Endorsed it. And so...
He's got an endorsement, as Johnny Cash would say.
I mean, over the years, I've owned maybe 2 or 3 of the D'Angelico jazz boxes.
Yeah.
But I've never owned one of their newer electrical guitars. And day before last, a musician's friend had on one of their stupid deals of the day, the D'Angelico Bedford SH, which stands for semi-hollow. and they had it for $399 instead of
Wow.
$899.
That's a pretty substantial discount.
That's $500 worth of
Yes.
discount. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pick one up. I'm going to check it out. It's a set neck, kind of jazz masterish guitar, but it's got this funky, large F hole
Huge.
on the top side of it.
It's like a boomerang or a
Yeah.
really, really, really long genie lamp.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, like I said, it's a set neck guitar. It's got a Duncan Design mini humbucker in the bridge and two Duncan Design Telly neck pickups in the middle and the neck, block inlays. So I'm kind of curious. I mean, for that kind of money, I wanted to check it out and see what it is. And if it's not good, I'll send it back. But I think I'm going to keep this one because it's just kind of an oddball guitar.
Now,
Well, that's all you collect, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I'm not. No, that's not a dig. I mean, you like getting the things that are definitely.
Why do you have to pick on me,
two
Todd?
steps off left of center.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
what color did you opt for?
Well, the one that they had on sale was Fiesta Red.
Okay.
So that's the one that I got, and or is coming. It should be. I'm thinking it'll be here this week.
Okay.
Usually, I get it in a couple of days after I order this fun stuff. So I will let you know. I will give you a
right
full
on.
report next time.
Does that have the double scroll headstock on it?
Yes, it does, with a little brass finial at the top. So it is like a typical, D'Angelico. It's thinner body, obviously. But I thought this is just
They're not short on bling
No, they are not.
and panache.
Panache.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but anyhow, I'll have a full report. I'm probably gonna put a new pick guard on it.
That's fun.
I know a guy.
That's a guitar that I look at and I'm like, who's this for? I mean, honestly, like I've said that to myself so many times. Like I'm trying to figure out like who is the solid body player of those.
I mean, to me, it says surf guitar, but
Yeah, I mean, because it is jazz masterish.
I get squirrel nut zippers kind of thing.
well, I mean, I think those types of music are adjacent.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
I can
not-
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like the voodoo surf kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's what I did this week.
All right, that's fun. Good. Billy, how about yourself?
Far out. Well, something came in the mail this week. It was from just outside of Chicago, made by Hardin Engineering.
Right,
It's a Telecaster
brilliant.
with a glued-in neck and lots of bling
They ran out of bolts
and lots
or
of
what?
road wear and really super cool pickups. They look like old-timey pickups.
Yeah,
One's a humbucker in the bridge position, and the other one's at a single coil in the neck.
yeah.
And
They're
yeah.
kind of. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't others that you could put into this realm, but you could say like Curtis Novak or like Water Slide. Kind of, there's a lot of stuff, embellishment on the actual.
yeah,
pickup
lots
itself.
of doodads, lots of like cool little surrounds,
Mm-hmm.
And this one in particular has like this little, I don't know, a little plate up where your arm would come over the top horn, when you're strumming, and another one, kind of a V-shaped one, back by the bottom button, strap button, and kind of engraved, silver plates.
Those engraved plates are really cool.
Yeah, and the best part is it has its own Hardin Bigsby on it.
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole thing, even with the Bigsby, weighs less than 6 pounds. So it's amazing.
Nice.
So
That's very
that's my
cool.
little. That was my Christmas present to myself.
But it's not a white guitar.
It's not white. I may use it with mathematics, but it probably has a future in some sort of a Rolling Stones kind of a band, or a sleazy, greasy rock and roll band, or
There's
know.
a certain California, like Central California Billy vibe to that guitar.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a certain kind of like old time like chicken picking Billy
Yeah.
style that they have out there.
But my buddy Chris Barton turned me on to it because he was working a little bit with Bill Harden, and Chris has one that's like a Jazzmaster body, and it is white with black, and it's just super cool.
Nice.
So anyway.
Yeah,
check him out. He's got lots of cool, kind of like Western country. It's sort of swing band country Western.
I was going to say there's a lot of Bigsby influence in there, like the Bigsby guitars.
Kind of a Texas Austin sort of thing.
The
I don't
forearm
know.
sort of plate on it is like, and the butt,
Yeah,
kind of neat. Yeah, it's a really neat guitar, and it's super super light. It's oddly light. When you pick it up, you're like, wait, what kind of is this wood?
Yeah,
that's how light it is.
Yeah, and with
it's
the
not
case,
a hollow body. I mean,
the case
it's solid,
and the guitar together are like less than 8 pounds.
Oh wow,
it's crazy.
That's a hard case too.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Now was it
with a Bigsby on it?
With a Bigsby. I don't know how it does it. It's magic, but I got it now.
Was this a new guitar when you purchased it, or is it?
It's brand new.
Okay,
brand new. Yeah, just hot off the press. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and it's like a Fiesta red. It's kind of an orangish, pinkish red.
Nice.
Yeah.
Too cool.
Yeah.
Very, very fun. Jared.
So Zach from Brandon Wong Pickups texted me a picture of a mid-'60s humbucker, and there are 2 original leads coming out of the lead hole where there are usually 1. So that obviously means it was coil tapped. And I have never, ever heard of a Gibson pickup being coil tapped from the 60s, unless I'm missing something or just don't know. Obviously, I don't know something if it was common or not, but I'm learning every day like everybody else in the world. So I thought that was really, really interesting. I mean, can you guys think of any mid-'60s Gibson guitars?
I mean, could it have been like on something with a Veritone switch, like a ES345, 355?
We've never seen that.
Yeah.
No, in fact, my a guy at work has a 355 with a Veritone system, and he's one of my bosses actually, and he cannot stand the Veritone, and so he took that out, and when you do that, you have to put longer leads on your pickups or jump them, because that will require longer leads on the pickups.
Oh, yeah.
The baritone switch is kind of near the 2 pickups, so the neck pickup actually uses less lead to get to the switch than the bridge. So if you want to bypass the baritone, which I would recommend for myself, then yeah, you would want to redo the leads on the pickup, so that's what I did with that. But as far as a mid-'60s, it's got to be like a 66. It's really interesting. It's got a T-top bobbin and a pre-T-top bobbin, so it was right when they were switching over materials. But it's, by God, it's original, unless somebody is an expert and really made it look original. But it's really cool. But it's like $800 on Reverb. You could see it on Reverb, but it's like $800. So I'm like,
So is
I'm
it?
just couldn't believe it.
Is it just so each coil has its own lead? Is that what you're saying?
There's one lead. I believe you can use one lead to do the whole series, but I'm gonna guess if you ground the inner lead, then you will split the coil.
Okay.
I think that's how because they did that with Dirty Fingers in the early 80s. They didn't use a 4-wire, the PVC lead that we see today. They actually just had 2 different leads with 2 different holes on each corner of the pickup, opposite corners of each other with, 2 braided leads. And
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's wild. It's really, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah.
But so that I found super interesting. And that is all I have, my friends.
I like how he claps at his end.
What was that? Did you click your fingers?
It'll do the same effect.
No, not really. But
So he's like in a jazz coffee house. Clap me in, boys. Yeah.
Well done, Jared. Well done.
the theater. What happened to the theater?
It's gone, real gone, man. What about you, John Esterly?
Yeah, John, tell us, please share.
So I've been doing some digging. One of the projects that I've kind of had in the back of my head for a while now is to build I believe they call it a Belinda Stang, the Belinda Butcher. It's like a Mustang, but it's got a Jazzmaster Jaguar.
You really are deep into like all the female players and builders and stuff.
Yes.
Almost everything you talk about is there's a female behind it. That's something. I mean, based on the conversation we had earlier, I'm just pointing that out, and we can dig into that after. Sorry for the interruption.
No,
Go ahead.
not at all.
There is a couch over there if you'd like to lie down, and we can psychoanalyze you later.
Yeah.
No, but it's a Mustang body,
Mustang body.
and then it's got the Jazzmaster style tremolo system.
Okay.
So you actually have to make a thicker body because the Mustang body's too thin to support. I mean,
Yes.
you'd have to have a hole on the back if you use the standard body. And then there's really no information about how it's wired or how it's the scale length because it appears to be like a full scale Fender guitar. And then there's no pickup selector switch. So as best we can tell, it's just 2 volume pots with no tone control.
Or maybe a blend.
Potentially, but it's 2 knobs and no switch. So trying to do a little research. There's not a whole lot of information out there because as best anybody knows, it was built custom for her, and she's been kind of tight-lipped about what it actually is. So, but I think I'm probably going to end up working with Gary at Partscaster to do something that's, if not a copy thereof, but more of an homage to that type of guitar. So I would probably stick with the shorter scale just because it's more comfortable for me.
Okay.
But you know the smaller offset body with the
But it has to be thicker.
has to be thicker. Yep. Yep. So that's kind of been what I've been digging into over the past.
Okay,
week.
that's awesome. So what about what about the thing that I was mentioning? So the last guitar that you mentioned that you want to get was a girl signature. I think was it your favorite band? One of your favorite bands was like a girl rock band. This was one. This was a girl guitar, and then the one that you showed me right before it was a girl bass. I know that Low Effects is like your favorite person in the whole wide world. It's interesting, and I'm just curious. Like, what is it? Why do you think you seem to gravitate towards that?
Well, I would say, and let me say this, and then I'll talk it through.
Okay.
So I tend to prefer bands that are led by female lead singers, and that's not because I'm a creepy dude. That's because I feel like the female singing voice falls better in the register, so the music balances out better. And the bands that I like that have male lead singers tend to be male singers that sing in higher registers than you would
totally
expect.
fair.
Okay.
So I think that's what kind of draws me towards those bands anyway. And then because I appreciate those bands, I
Like
look at
Andy
the equipment
Gibb.
that they use. Right.
Okay.
I still think you're a creepy
Maybe a
dude.
little lower than that.
That's interesting.
It is interesting, but I think more it's what I listen to, so then that's what I look at when it comes to gear.
Interesting. Okay. Just it's an observation. That's all. As a father of 3 girls and a leader of a band that has a girl singer, I mean, I can understand. Okay. So, hey, speaking of that, this weekend.
Hey, Todd, what about you?
I knew that was going to be a long one, so I let you have that. I talked about this bass that I got from my daughter, and finally got time to go down to Tony's shop.
Yay.
We did a little fun video, and honestly, that video might be my favorite video we've ever done.
It's
It
pretty
was
cool.
so much fun. Like, I had the best time editing that. I'm like, this is super fun.
I loved it.
It was really great, and we had an awesome time. Tony took really good care of us, and it was fun to let Jane, who's my middle daughter, kind of like see what all the. She wasn't just like listening to it third hand. She was in the store. She was in the shop, and Tony was cutting it, and she was looking at every little piece, and Billy has to fart. He said, "Oh, you want me to clap? Okay,
do it on the thing."
Yeah. Anyways,
that's better. It's nice.
You're so thoughtful.
That's very polite of you.
That's super polite. So, anyways, we got to hang out, and she got to watch Tony and I just kind of yuck it up and stuff, and it was just it was a neat experience.
That was fun,
and we got a heck of a good looking pickguard out of it. We went with parchment pearl.
Parchment pearloid, yes.
Yeah, it's the big, giant, chunky pearl, which looks really great. And we also put on a bridge cap. Is that a chrome bridge cap?
Cover? Yeah.
Bridge cover,
P-base cover.
Yeah, it's a black P base with maybe rosewood.
Yeah,
fingerboard,
some sort of darkish wood.
It's Brazilian.
I can't. I don't know how old it is though. So it very well could be. Yeah. Anyways, and then we also put on. She's got really big hands, like long phalanges, and she's tall. So I'm watching her trying to struggle, like resting her thumb on the top of a pickup and still trying to do it. I said, let's put a thumb rest on the guard for you. And that immediately, she's like, oh my. She got home and just started playing it like crazy, and it was great.
Yep.
So,
and that's interesting because you chose the 70s position early on in the 50s and 60s. Fender put the thumb rest, or tug bar as it was called then, below the G string.
Yeah.
And this one is above the E string. So it just goes to show you the style changes, because back in the early days, bass players would anchor their fingers below on the treble side and use their thumb to pick.
Yeah, because there wasn't much going on.
No, but now in the 70s, the Fender moved it up top so that you could rest your thumb on it and use your fingers to play individual strings.
Yeah, it's really, really cool, and it really helped her playability of the guitar. So I was really, really, really thankful for that. So thanks, Tony, for letting us in the shop on a Saturday.
On a Saturday of all days.
And she finally got to name it.
What did she name it?
Floyd.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes. So she named it Floyd, which is really cool. So I think I'm gonna get some like those little slant style like mailbox stickers with and put Floyd on the back.
Like Eddie Floyd.
Or
King Floyd.
King Floyd. Just Floyd.
Oh, you should try to find the ones like Elvis put on his acoustic guitar. They're like
foil.
They're kind of like.
That's what I was saying. The ones that are like each of them.
Yeah,
are like
but these
slants.
are almost like raised and have like a clear coating on them.
I'll think about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I also want to mention I forgot to mention this, but over the break, I did a post where Seymour Duncan rated our show as like the one to listen to for traveling and otherwise. They were just they made a post and they said these are things you need to pay attention to. And so I got a hold of Seymour Duncan and I said, hey, I want to talk to the person that put that together and then say thank you and ask them questions about what why did they do that and what was what they had to say about it. Got in touch with somebody. It'd be great to have some sort of faction from representative from Seymour Duncan to come on the show. And we spoke specifically not just about like tell us about Seymour Duncan pickups. It may just be me, but when my perspective on it is when Duncan came around, they like blew up the whole pickup. Thank you. Pickups world, right? And then there was there was the era of like all the smaller boutique ones, right? Mm-hmm. And so for players who are entering the game, like maybe even in the last 5 or even 10 years, may not be as familiar with Duncan. Certainly not in the land of where we're at right now. It's not that they're gone or anything, but they're just not as top of mind because they've been around for so long.
Well, I will say that, even to this day, I still use a lot of Duncan pickups in my projects. in addition to other boutique things. I like Brandon Wounds. There are certain things, but in terms of price and consistency and quality,
I mean, you're not going to go wrong with them. They're great.
No, you can't.
My point though was, instead of there is that, and they're going to continue to do that. So touching on that, I was kind of like, spitballing an idea of like, what would the show look like? Because I'd love to have them on the show. Mm-hmm. They're also developing a lot of great new innovations outside of those, their core line of products. I'm like, let's talk about that stuff, as well, because most people that are talking to them are talking about their pickups. So, anyways, just a back and forth conversation, but it was really cool, and I enjoyed speaking with them. So hopefully we'll get them on the show in some capacity.
Nice.
So there's that. Well, we don't have a 4 on the floor.
Todd Novak, what is your 4 on the floor?
I was going to suggest just that, because I don't think we've ever heard it, have we?
I don't know what it is, but that's okay. This is not about me. But I do want to do a giant thank you, a massive shout out to Tour Gear.
Absolutely.
We talk about them every week, and we're not just blowing smoke. Like, it's a great company. They're great dudes. They make a great product.
Absolutely.
And they make it really easy for the average Joe guitar player to not go broke getting good gear. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Tour
Todd.
Gear, for sponsoring our 4 on the floor that we don't have this week.
They offer a discount too.
They do. Thank you, Jared. What does that discount look like?
Well, you get 10% off if you use the guitar knobs on their coupon code, I believe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is absolutely correct.
So
I would take advantage of that. Yeah,
Type
absolutely.
in the guitar knobs.
That is very, very true.
Just type it in.
Billy, you're gonna have to do that. You got all these new things that you keep getting.
Yes.
You're out acquiring Tony. It's kind of remarkable.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Anyways, so ladies and gentlemen, this is our 300th episode.
300.
300. We started in 2016. In April of 2016, and so this will be our 7th year of production, and well over 275 interviews at least.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah,
which is really fun. I've been lining up future episodes. We've got a lot of great ones coming. We're going to dip into some people that we haven't talked to in a little while. Because a lot has changed in the gear world, just even in the last 3 years, and people who had a path that they were going down are having to change it, or having to alter it, or have grown immensely, or have shrunken, and so we're going to talk to a lot of those kind of people.
Nice.
I'm always on the lookout for new builders, as we are looking and thinking about new people to have on the show. I also got a question about acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up that I've been playing a lot of acoustic because I'm doing a special show this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's honestly, it's just something that I'm not personally like, I'm not an acoustic guy, and I don't have the tendencies towards that. And a lot of people are like, you need to check this person. I'm like, that's awesome. It's a $12,000 acoustic guitar. That's not, I don't know what we're supposed to do with that. I don't know very many of our listeners that could, like, who, I just don't know what to really do with that kind of information.
I wonder if we can turn that into a 101 and talk about different woods and talk about what kind of, different woods gives us different tone. I
think that would be a great approach to it, because I think that would let a couple of names in, because I know that there are really amazing builders out there. I know that there are people making fantastic guitars that aren't the ultra super well-known brands. It is just not in my field of general interest for me to be able to carry that conversation in, with in authentic enthusiasm, I guess, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
So, but I would certainly yield that over if you guys are like, dude, no, we need to do it, and I want to.
I think it would be a good idea.
All the questions.
I'll answer all the questions.
I would say it doesn't have a knob, so it does not fit the
Some
definition
of them
of
Some
Some
do.
of them do. So, anyways, that's just things to consider. You know, just ramblings out of my my little peanut up there and spinning around. But
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Yeah. So, and you know, there's all kinds of fantastic innovations, even from known builders that we're encountering. Like we just had Black Star on, and who are well known for their amps. We did in my opinion, those are two of the best episodes we've ever had. I think.
Oh, those were very good. Yeah.
And learned a lot about like new things that are happening. I saw the announcement from Fender, like a couple days ago, that they're basically going to like go heavy, like full force into digital amplification now. Somebody sent that to me. I can't remember who sent it to me, but there's a lot of things that are shaking up based on like what we have to work with now, and what are the demands of musicians, and what are, will our gear look like the same that it is now in 5 years even,
That's a good point.
So, really interesting, amazing time to be a guitar player, and more importantly, a guitar enthusiast, even if you like just having the stuff, which is great too. I really, really hope that at some point in time we're like, oh my gosh, it's our 500th show. I would love for that to happen. Tony wrinkled his nose, but I would love for that to happen.
That'll be 200 episodes from now.
That will be.
That's 4 years.
Yeah. Huh. So, anyways, just a little dissertation on where we are with the 300, and we're just opening the conversation up to all you all.
Well, Todd, the only thing I can say about one of the things I can say about 300 episodes is I hope that the listeners have had as much fun listening to all the episodes as I think all of us have had doing this. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it.
Absolutely.
It's fun. We have a good time. We sit down. Sometimes everybody's in the studio. Sometimes we're doing it remotely. And it's just a bunch of guys talking about gear.
Yep.
Especially the funnies at the end.
Oh, the outtakes are always...
Yeah.
That's a reward if you listen to the whole thing. You get a little reward.
But no, I think it is, and I think time and time again, guests that we have, everybody says, I feel like I'm just like sitting around, talking to you guys in person, just talking about gear and stuff. And that's the whole vibe, I think, of what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Indeed. I was talking with Jared this weekend, and we were talking about people that we know sort of in the industry who may or may not, just like depending on their personality and stuff. And, so many of these people are builders who just spend all their time by themselves, not really talking. So it's not like they're out there glad handing all the time. And sometimes people can come off certain ways and not. We were just kind of talking about that. And I reminded him, I said, when I first met Jared at the guitar show, I came around the corner and I see this huge person. Yeah. And I said, so do you make these pickups? And his big giant genie arms were all folded up. And he said, looking at me like, are you an idiot? I'm like, yeah. Why the hell do you think I'm standing here at this table selling pickups that say my name on it? Which I didn't know what his name was. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Where do you make them? I make them here in Ohio. Okay. Well, what's your story? And a long pause, and he looked at me in like exasperation. And he goes, do you really want to know? And I said, yeah, I do now. Because I'm not sure if he wants to squash me or, whatever. And it was an interesting thing because that could have gone a lot. It could have gone completely different. I could have been like, "Oh, okay."
He could have pummeled
Thanks,
you,
jerk. See you later. Or he could have said, "Scram, go away. You bother me, son." Kind of thing.
I got paying customers.
Yeah, because he's got people who are constantly saying like, "Tell me all about your stuff." And then he goes into the, "Okay, blah 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 blah," and they're like, "Cool, thanks. See you later." And doesn't end up buying anything. So he's like, "Why? I don't want to maybe waste my time on that."
Did you buy something from him that day?
I did not.
Of course it didn't.
But I asked him to be on the show.
Oh, there you go.
And I was so flattered that you asked and very excited and
Did we lose you?
Jared.
oh, sorry about that. I pressed that on accident.
No, I didn't know if you were all choking up and just like couldn't breathe.
No,
He's awfully clamped.
When you asked me to be on the show, I was inside. I was super excited, and I'm not gonna lie. I thought, wow, I really liked the show. After I listened to a few episodes, I think you did.
We only had a few.
20. Yeah, you had like 10
20,
or 15 or something like that. 20, and it was funny, and I thought to myself, I wonder if I could ever be on this as a
It's a miracle we got past 20.
And it's been a great ride ever since. And, because of being on the show, it's really it helped out my business. And so I definitely consider being on the show a part of my own personal success, thanks to Todd Novak. So thank you, Todd.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
it means a lot. So.
And I think shortly after you were on the show, Jared, didn't our friend Andy Harrison, introduce you and I? And then you said, "You got to get on this podcast that I'm on." And I think I hemmed and hawed for a little while.
Yeah, because he told me all about that. And he's like, "Yeah, he didn't really say, And then he asked you again, and he's like, "Yeah, he didn't really say anything." And then later on, I think I met you at the guitar show. I'm like, we should have you on. He's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll come on."
I was happy.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony brought us picks and and a little bag of goodies.
But there's a whole other thing, because at that point, like, if you get turned down twice, that doesn't matter who you are. The next time you're gonna be like, "Screw that guy," So I think he actually might have said, "Oh, Tony, after meeting you at the guitar, said he'd like to come on the show," and I was like,
yeah.
And he's like, "Really, seriously, I think he'd be really great. He knows a lot of stuff." And I was like, "All right, fine." And he came on, and I'm like, "All right, I got some jelly for my peanut butter. I love it."
I got it. I can't imagine the show without Tony Balonski.
Absolutely.
Too. He's been on for a long time.
Yeah,
so.
Forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually did use that same analogy when I was talking to Jane, because she was talking about how we were just like acting like two little kids. Mm-hmm. And I said, one of the great things as an example about what the show has done for me personally, but also for others that are involved, and the episode that we just had with Sam Jett, and some of the things that we are actually going to talk about right after this. It's like that all happened as a result of being open and accepting of others, and showing interest and finding commonality, and being excited about the things that we all like. And I said, honestly, like, I never would have thought. Take this in the right way, Tony. I said, I never would have thought in a million years that like my, I'd find jelly for my peanut butter in a 60-plus-year-old pickguard maker.
Listen, Shani, I forgot more about podcasts than you'll ever know.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you're no spring chicken either.
Hey. Careful.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a single example.
Yeah.
And if I'm just looking at this table right here, you got Billy, we got John, we got Jared on the line. All of this happened. I mean, we probably would have known each other. Bill, are you doing tantric exercises right now? Or are you just?
I'm.
You thinking?
A whole none.
He's doing his kegels over there. Give him
I think he may need to make a poop.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's not about that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm blathering on a little bit, but I'm just saying, like, I'm so.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the
I'm
head
so incredibly grateful for the connections and friendships that I've made through the show. For the people at the table, for the people who are listening, so many people that are listening, and through our patrons, it really, truly blows me away. Like that, what if I didn't just try? Mm-hmm. Right? What if I didn't convince one of or all of you guys at different points in time to say, hey, you should, come and hang out or whatever. Man, it has brought so much fulfillment and true joy to my life, and I'm thankful for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Us too.
I'll second that emotion.
Thanks, Billy. And now, if I may, really quickly, we've talked to a couple of the old dogs, but you guys are, John, you dip in every once in a while, and Billy is a recent addition. Anything you would care to share from yourselves?
One small example is I had no idea what any of this was about. Todd said, "Hey, I'm interviewing this guy who's plays bass and guitar for different bands on the road."
AC Slade.
Yeah, AC Slade. He says, "I think you would really appreciate him and could add something to our show because you kind of do that too." And I was like, okay. And I came down here to the studio and got to talk to AC Slade. And then it got me thinking about so many different things about what is my role in the music world, both here in Columbus and outside of that. And then all kinds of things have happened since then. One is I started renting some of the studio space that was available right here when we do the podcast. And I do it from my art studio. And then just connecting. It's like sometimes it just takes one small connection to make a much bigger, meaningful integration into the whole, world of art and music. And so I don't know. I'm just very grateful that you started this.
Don't forget dance.
Dance,
music, art, and
right,
dance.
right. Yeah, because that's real easy to visualize while we're talking about gear.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. So thank you,
sharing
Todd.
that. I'm glad you're here.
I would say I think what impresses me so much about this show is Todd and Tony and Jared have developed a knack for keeping the momentum going in an interview. I mean, I've been party to some of the interviews that were tougher than others, and then I've been party to some where it just felt very natural, like it was just 4 or 5 people sitting around talking for an hour or more. And I think you're very quick to just adapt to how the show is going to go and keep it going. So definitely kudos on that.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
no, that wasn't for Todd. Tony.
Yeah, that was for Tony. And I want to point out, I'm facilitating. It's like none of this. I mean, I don't know if it was just me doing this. This would not be. It wouldn't be remotely the same thing. So, like, this is a collective thing, and even the energy from everybody listening. If we didn't have that back, we probably would have had our fun and said, well, we tried. So I think that is a huge factor in it. But
ladies and gentlemen, Todd, it is hard for Todd to take credit, but Todd, you do deserve an enormous amount of credit because this is your format, your whole idea in the first place, and how to present the content at hand. We're just a bunch of blubbering idiots lucky enough to be on the show.
I think Billy took offense to that one.
I'm not blubbering. Who are you saying blubbering?
I mean, I knew Tony before the show, and he would just be another pickguard maker.
Yeah.
But somebody has to say it. That's my point. So I'm saying it.
I appreciate that, Jared. And true to form, yes, it feels. I don't want to.
Spend a lot of time.
It's weird. It's weird to be like, thank you. Because that's,
I know.
But I appreciate that.
Well, the cool thing is that there are so many guitar nerds out there, that talk about gear.
And there's tons that we haven't even reached yet.
I mean, I'm
tons.
When I tell people about the show, it's like, oh, I'm going to listen to some episodes, and then they're hooked. They go back and they listen to these episodes, and they're telling me all the time. They're like, "Oh man, I've been digging that show, man." It's just
nice.
Like, hey, okay, cool.
It's interesting because I will get messages from people who I love getting messages from everybody. But they'll say they're like, "Oh, I just caught up on XYZ episode," and I was like, holy mackerel, that was a while ago. I was like, are you going backwards? Are you going forwards? Where did you start? And I'm excited. I'm like, that's cool. And they'll say like that part where you blah, 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 blah. And now I really like them and I follow them or whatever. It's like, that's really great. Actually, to that point. So we just gave away to Johnny Morales.
Hey.
Johnny.
And he is in Oakland. He says, hey, that's really cool. I can't believe I won something. And he says, I have a guitar shop. And I was like, wait, what? And then we had this big long conversation, on Instagram and everything. And I checked out the guitar shop, and it's one of those ones is like he's kind of leading with an attitude of like sort of like a very positive vibe kind of thing. So we were talking about that. It was just like one of those things like here's a guy who's also doing this out there that I didn't even make that connection. I stumbled on his shop on accident, and I was like, I really like your shop. I didn't even know it was him at the time. And then he said, hey, can I really want to talk to Wooly from Champion Lecky because I'd like to feature his pedals in my shop. Man, that's freaking cool. It's like, Wooly's our friend. And so I immediately said, any other connections I can make, let me know, because I love doing that. Anyways, that just happened this weekend, and I forgot about that.
That's wonderful.
Speaking of other things, or speaking of the last episode we just had, let's talk about this amazing giveaway that we have for all of you. Not for all of you, for one of you, but it's a giveaway nonetheless. You guys are all looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
Well,
say it.
It's a raffle.
I was going to say it's not.
But we're giving it away.
Giveaway per se.
Okay,
it's a raffle.
That's a raffle with a giveaway. You're giving it away to the person who won the raffle.
So some purchase necessary.
So we can all be in the raffle. So it is for all of us.
It is for everyone who wants to buy a raffle ticket.
Yes.
So if you recall, hopefully you listened to the last episode. We had a fantastic time with Sam Jett, and these guys, he and John, showed up with this incredible guitar and shared that whole story and who was involved. And I just want to thank everybody that was involved in bringing this guitar to life from the absolute bottom of my heart. That is just so awesome. And Bill Gola Guitars, way out there in Australia, big giant digital hug from me, okay? Now, I'm going to turn this over to John.
And this guitar you're talking about,
this is the gold sparkle Toddcaster, as they called it on the back of the neck plate.
And the inspiration was that a bunch of people wanted to say thanks.
Wanted to say thanks and, just maybe poke a little fun at Todd in the process. We kind of started this to be fair, it was just going to be a joke. We were going to get a Squier guitar and
And to be clear, I have nothing to do with this.
Nothing to do with it.
I have zero to do with this.
We were going to just rattle can something and maybe have Tony put together a black pickguard and do this is the guitar that Todd would not want, right?
Yes. 1, Todd hates Strats.
Right.
2, all of Todd's guitars are black with a gold sparkle pickguard.
Not all of them, but most of them.
And this is the opposite. It is like the deepest gold sparkle you can possibly imagine.
I also don't like black hardware.
And this has black hardware. It's
a shredder guitar.
Just again to kind of go over it. So Bilgola Guitar did the body for us. It's got a Gun Street harness, Brandon wound pickups. Tony did the pick guard. It's got a Rare Buzz crinkle bind, which is an in-guitar boost in lieu of the volume. Sam sprung for the hardware and the neck. It's a Warmoth neck, all black hardware.
And Chase did the setup.
Chase did the final setup on it, final assembly.
I mean,
setup.
it is a real player. It's legitimately, it is a. That's a nice guitar.
I mean,
man.
it's a nice guitar. Little loud, but if you're one that's on stage and you want something that really is going to draw attention, you'll see pictures of it.
It's a statement guitar.
It's definitely a statement guitar.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to do, so I'm going to host the raffle on my website. So if you go to rarebuzzer.com, rarebuzzer.com, it'll be right there on the homepage. You'll have an opportunity to buy raffle tickets. We're going to do $25 a ticket. There will be a grand prize winner, which will get the guitar. We'll do free shipping within the United States. If you're an international buyer, I don't want to discourage you, but all we would ask is that you help out with the shipping. And then we're also going to do a second prize drawing. We're going to do a special gold enclosure snitch pedal from my lineup. So we're going to bring that back for one pedal and one pedal only. And the second place winner will get a snitch, which for those that don't know is a rodent style pedal that's very loud.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super exciting. And then, so this raffle, all the money.
Well, that's ultimately that's up to you. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but last week we had talked about, giving you the opportunity to pick a charity that we would then donate all of this money to, because everything that we've done so far has been donated either in kind or with donated funds.
Right.
So
I'm really, really excited about being able to donate this to something to a cause. And in all honesty, like, I've been racking my brain trying to figure it out because I've never really been put in this position before. And what I am actually going to opt to do is, so as not to create any bias, I would like to announce the recipient when we are ready to draw.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So that the spirit of the raffle is true.
So you're making basically an anonymous donation, but all the funds will go to a charity.
Say who it's going to go to when we announce.
You do the draw.
Yeah, I'm not going to just be like, it went to somebody. I don't want to do that. But I also don't want it to color someone's decision to say this is going to help somebody.
I got you.
As opposed to like, maybe I don't want to help that buddy for whatever reason.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair too.
Okay.
Plus, it gives you a little more time.
It gives
to
me
think
a
about
little bit more time to make a really good, educated thing, because I also don't want to, there's lots of things that you can kind of knee-jerk say, oh, I'm going to donate this to X. It's like, I know this isn't going to be $100,000.
I think the band would really like that.
Yeah, they would. Hey, actually, I would, like, if anybody's going to
sing.
Yeah.
There it is.
No, but, I want to make sure that this goes to something that's going to actually, to have a real effect, because there's so many different tiers of recipients of things. And like I said, it's not like we're a corporation who's going to be donating $100,000 or $10,000. Maybe we'll get to $10,000. That'd be amazing. But I want to make sure that we make an impact. And
yeah,
so I think that that's an important part of it. So it isn't just a drop in a bucket of water. I want it to be a bucket of water as much as we can.
Sure.
So.
And then I would say structurally, so we'll put this live whenever this episode drops, whatever date that is, and then we'll run the raffle for 2 weeks. and then close it at midnight 2 weeks after this episode drops. And as the timing works out, I'm sure all social media channels.
Yeah, we're going to blow it up on social.
Yeah, we'll make sure that you know when you can buy tickets, when the ticket sales are going to end, and then we'll draw,
right
after the sales end.
Right. I like this very much. I'm really, really excited about it. I hope everybody out there is listening, is able to, contribute, and hopefully, you win something. That'd be fantastic. I would love that.
Yep.
Let's see. So more to come on that.
More to come.
So when this drops, when you first hear this, we should have it up and running.
Yeah, you'll be able to go to the website. You'll be able to buy a ticket when this is aired.
Okay. All right. Well, John and I will sort that out. So I shouldn't say look for this then, because this then is now. This is then.
Go on the computer right now and buy tickets.
That's right. That's what we want to say.
Buy till it hurts.
Yeah.
And then buy another
cool.
one.
Super cool. So one other thing that I wanted to kind of share / announce is I've been careful not to tease out too much, and I've actually had to pull a lot of photos from like shows that I've done, because I always like to take a shot at my pedal board. And I realized, I'm like, crap, I can't show that yet. Because last night we launched flinteffects.com.
Ooh.
And this is something that me and my drummer from the Valentinos have been working on. He's a very talented electronic wizzo fella.
That's the degree you asked for if you want to do that electronic wizzo degree.
Yes, and is also a great problem solver. So he and I like to talk about problems and how to solve them and all that business. And so I would like to introduce the listening world to the Stomper. This is our first product. We actually have a couple pedals that are being worked on, but I fast tracked this because I was like, this is something that didn't exist, and I was really, really excited about. And we'll probably have another longer promo a little bit later on that. But so the Stomper, I'm showing these guys.
I've seen
it and everything. It's been a little while in the process, but effectively, it is a device that you can just put on your, typically a multi-effects pedal, like the HX Stomp, or the Hot Tone Ampero line, also the HX XL, and the Eventide H90. And what those have in common is that very, very close to the actual foot switch are your highly tuned, like micro parameter knobs that are like touch sensitive. Like if you touch it, think about a lamp that you touch and it turns on. You don't have to press anything. You just touch it, it turns on. That's like on the HX Stomp. They are pressure sensitive, and they have like the infinite, what do you call it? It's like tick, 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 tick.
It's called a rotary encoder.
Rotary encoder. And these little teeny tiny knobs are sitting right in front of your big giant stomping foot. And when I first started playing with my HX Stomp, I was like, every time I'd go up to it, I'd be like, yeah, ooh, and I'd have to like tiptoe into it. So because I've got a relatively large foot, and I was like, I'm fearful I'm going to crush these little tiny knobs that are basically controlling all the stuff that I need this to do. So when we did this, made a little drawing. I looked at the Stomper, the HX Stomp, and I went to my whiteboard and I said, huh. And I did a little drawing, and I called Matt up and I said, hey, I have an idea. And I talked to him and he said, let's try to make it. And after about 26 iterations, we came up with something that would stay on the pedal when you're traveling from gig or whatever. It will protect it. It will give you something to actually try to look at, or that you can actually see, so it's not just a bunch of black with knobs and stuff. And I'm really, really proud of this. We actually waited for a long time because we were in the process of getting a patent. And I know everybody's like, well, patents, who cares about a patent? Patent's only as good as your lawyers that you have to black. And I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of a bucket list thing too, to be honest. It's like, I have a patent, or I have a patent pending, I should say. And so we're really, really, really excited. This is called the Stomper.
So these are PAF?
They are, no.
The PAF Stomper?
No, they're not patent applied for. They are patent pending.
Patent pending. PPs.
Yes, we were originally patent applied for. They're not PAFs, they're PPs. Yes.
They're PP stompers.
Yes.
Is that what we're
So, anyways, we got a bunch of different colors, and some of them actually glow in the dark.
Yeah.
They're UV activated.
Are they available in clear?
They are not available in clear,
But they could be.
but they are available in atomic pink,
Atomic pink. Ooh.
UV orange, UV green, Arctic white, white sparkle, black sparkle, so it looks exactly like the HX Stomp,
Right.
and gold sparkle.
Well,
Nice.
who would use something like
course.
that?
I mean, we had to do that, right? And there we have a patent pending tension cage. That's what keeps these things on. So we're really, really excited about this. If you have any of the models that I've just talked about, we launched the site, but we haven't said anything out to the general public other than right now on the show. And we have an inventory that we're trying to work through. We don't know if this is going to go big. We don't know if this is going to go small. We just don't know. If you go to flinteffects.com,
How's that spelled?
FlintEffects.com, flinteffects.com. We are selling them for $10 to protect your $500 to $600 to $800 piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And we're geared up to do, I think, about 6 different models right now, and we're going to continue to look for new ones to apply them to. But for those who are listening, and I already tested them out with some of the patrons from Patreon on our show, and I'm like, hey, who out there's got a HX Stomp, and let me see what you think. So I sent those out, but for at least the next week, we're not going to do any kind of social announcement or anything like that. We're not going to try to pump up SEO or anything. So you all who are listening have first dibs on the stock that we have.
Nice.
I hope you like it. And if nothing else, hey, I made something. FlintEffects.com, officially live and open.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And they're super cheap to ship, too. So it's like, because they weighed virtually nothing. Yeah. Alrighty. Those 2 huge announcements were the big announcements that we wanted to handle today. Hey, everybody. Just need to interject real quick here. The day after we recorded this, we all learned of the passing of the famed American guitarist, singer, and songwriter David Crosby. And as we are featuring him in our Would You Rather, we wanted to acknowledge and thank him for his contribution to our music world and our guitar world. Thank you, David. I'm sure we can find a seat for him in the El Camino right now. On with the show. Gentlemen, Jared.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really glad to see everybody show up in the old El Camino down here to Nashville. And that's how it sounds. It's got a big cam in the engine.
Bad cam.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Would You Rather 300th episode edition.
Well done.
Okay. So,
get your
here we
Dr.
are.
Pepper.
That's right. So we're all celebrating the after party of the 300th episode. And we're all, about 10 beers in, maybe 4 or 5 whiskey drinks in, or what have you, of your drink of choice. And you're a little buzzed, you're a little too buzzed to drive.
I like Shirley Temples.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, you get a call from a manager and then another manager. So you get back-to-back calls from these 2 managers because there's 2 different shows in town. Number 1 show that you got a call from the manager is Willie Nelson show. The other show is Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Young, because this is make-believe and Young's back with them. So here's the thing. You have to either replace Crosby or Willie because they're both sick. But you have to use either Willie's trigger or Crosby's like 1960s Martin D45, which is probably worth $300,000 or whatever. So, or more because it's his. So these extremely expensive guitars, you have to choose which gig you're going to fill in for and which expensive guitar you're going to probably drop and break because you've had too much to drink.
Okay.
It's a lot to follow, but...
That is a lot to follow.
You're drunk and you have to either fill in for one of those shows.
Now let me ask you this. Do both shows have equally good buffets?
Yes.
Okay. So no spoiled seafood at one.
No, it's only shrimp.
Only
Shrimp cocktail.
It's all shrimp dishes. Everything.
Or raw fish.
Fried bologna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody's not aware, Trigger is Willie Nelson's
Martin.
longtime beat to crap.
Lots of holes in the top.
Yes.
They actually fix that hole all the time to make it look like the same wear.
Yeah.
That's been on it for 30 years. It's crazy what they do.
Yeah.
Look
Stu
it up.
Max,
It's really interesting.
what's his bucket? I just forgot his name.
Dan Erlewine.
Dan Erlewine. His brother is the one who
Yeah.
who's been tasked with fixing that many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really great videos out there. If you care to check them out, they go into great detail what they do to keep that thing running. It's really cool.
Yes.
Man.
And Crosby's D45.
Right.
Man.
Now, is there any way to know that it is Crosby's?
It's got
It
it's
has
got
to
his
be
name
his.
on a sticker, like
His name on a
his
sticker.
underwear.
He hands it to you. He's like, "Oh, I can't go on the show." So, and he just hands it to
Sounds
you.
just like him.
It's right, and it's his guitar, and it's probably one of the it's probably a fantastic sounding guitar because they had Brazilian backs inside, and it's a 45, which has all
the ornamentation,
inlays, all the good stuff. So it's extremely expensive.
All right.
And you're like 3/4 drunk, man. So
Okay.
what are you going to risk
But
playing?
you're better off than these two guys, apparently. So, Tony, why don't you head us off?
Okay. I would have to say, I think I'm going to do the David Crosby. I think I'd rather play a decent D45 than a beat up
Trigger.
I mean, just and plus, I think I could, David and I have similar girth. So the audience would never know.
Yeah. The whole thing's a belly cut.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just
yes.
It's just a front. Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that.
All right.
That's what
fair.
I'm doing.
That's fair. Billy,
Can you repeat the
you
question?
going with David Crosby's guitar or Willie Nelson's Trigger?
Trigger all the way.
Trigger all the way.
Yeah.
All right. Any particular reason?
No question.
But does he have to also sing the Willie Nelson
No,
parts?
he doesn't.
Oh, he just has to play.
He's just, yeah.
Yeah. Willie Nelson all the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody else plays like that, and it's important. And
I'm not going to let Tony be on Tony Island by himself. I say the D45
Okay.
because if I'm going to drop either one of these, it's going to be bad. So Might as well at least let people know where it got dropped. Because I think if you drop trigger, no one would know the difference.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot left.
Totally
Jared,
on it.
about yourself.
That's tough because it's like, which one do you risk playing and holding, and don't do any of those. What do they call it when you flip the guitar around on the the backflip thing? Yeah, don't do that. I'm going to go with the D45 because it's so fancy and the Brazilian rosewood. But I don't know what trigger is. Shame on me for not knowing the model. That also could be rosewood back and sides Brazilian.
It might be. My understanding is that it's a Martin classical gut string.
Yeah. What year is it? Pre-70s?
It's way pre-70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say
Martin N20.
They probably both sound amazing, but
nylon acoustic.
Give me the Dreadnought. I think the Dreadnought's going to be a little more sturdier. I think.
Oh yeah.
Because I am not similar girth between Tony and Crosby. I am probably another.
You're the other way.
Yeah, I'm huge. So
yeah,
that'll look like trigger on me.
That'll look like a ukulele on you.
Yeah,
ukulele.
Yeah. So okay, well, I'm gonna. The reason this is tricky for me.
Todd,
is that,
how about you?
Thank you. Your point about if you drop trigger, no one is going to notice. Like that trigger's going to end up in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is an American treasure right there. And the idea of dropping that, to me, it would be like
red, white,
I don't want to
blue,
be the guy that does that. But
strap and everything.
Because it's so famous, I'm like, I would want the ability to be able to have said, yeah, I got to hold and play trigger. That's pretty amazing. And I'm certainly not astute enough on the classical, or sorry, the acoustic guitar outside of the cowboy chords to hold my own there. So I think I would rather do that on trigger.
Okay.
Good choice. Good choice.
That's a good question, Jared. Thank you. Also,
so it's 3-3 right now. Who's breaking the tie?
It's 2-3.
It's 2-3.
It's me and you and these three guys. They're all going to the D45.
I don't want to drag this out any longer, but this kind of reminds me. I'm gonna, right? Because this is the 300th episode, right?
Sure.
But this kind of reminds me. Has anybody else heard the story about the scene in The Hateful Eight where they smashed the Martin guitar?
Yes, that was a real freaking Martin.
It was like a real.
It was a real one.
19th century Martin guitar. They were supposed to swap it out between scenes, and there was something that had.
God.
So Kurt Russell reaches over and grabs this guitar from Jennifer Jason Leigh and smashes it against the wall. And the scene that they use in the movie, I'm not encouraging anybody to go watch it, but the scene they use in the movie,
I would encourage it. It's an amazing movie.
That is the actual shot of them smashing the guitar. And if you watch Jennifer Jason Leigh, you can tell she knows it's the real one because she reacts how you would if you saw that happen. It's totally breaks character, but they kept it in because it's a very real reaction to that. So that was also the last time Martin loaned out a guitar from their museum.
Yep.
Shocker. That was kind of silly of them to do. But
yeah,
whatever.
it's not like we could tell anything,
No.
Right.
Well, that was super fun. And hopefully we have, 300 more Would You Rathers. I would love for that to happen.
Would you rather have 300 more?
Or
Yes.
300 less.
Would you rather have 300 of them in one episode?
no. No, in fact,
There's an idea.
So here's one of the things, we've had discussions on, well, what if we did an episode that was just all the outtakes, or all of the Would You Rathers, or all
like
of
that
the Four on the Floors?
Yeah. Let's do it.
No.
Yeah, let's
I don't have the time to do
give
that.
you 10 minutes
Are
to
you
edit the
insane?
thing.
Yeah, right.
10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe 15.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. I also think that it would kind of kill the vibe because it is they're special in their one-offness, you know. So that's what I.
They're like people.
Yeah, it's like if you see, if you watch a stand-up comic do all this stuff, or you just watch like just the highlight reel. It's like after the highlight reel, you're like, well, okay, I'm good with that. I don't need any more of that.
They're like Soylent Green.
Kind of, they're people. Anyhow, let's exit our way out of this. We need to say a humongous thank you to some people here, Tony.
Yes, that is correct, Todd, because at this point of the show, there is a very special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer makes this show possible. 300 shows. Can you believe it? 300 shows. Now, if you want to become a patron, a sponsor of this podcast, go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs and check out a couple different levels in which you can participate. Become a sponsor, a patron of the podcast. Each level comes with some very, very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win incredible prizes, I might add. Mm-hmm. But there's one thing more, Jared. What would that be?
Man, you get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers. Moon Guitars, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Mike D, Richard Kendall, Mark Garton, Matt Hart, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Giamolero, Bill Gola Guitars, John Esterly, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lem, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, Tom Brazen,
That's right.
Rusty Sneeden, Ralph Gottschalk, Don Kloss, Gregory Randall, Brett Hogarth, Eric Hemmer, Stuart George, Michael Furman, Andrew DeHaan, and Andrew Bell.
Indeed. Yes.
But Todd, there's another special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs. They are the grandest of all Poobahs that we know of.
Is this where you get your name read on the thing?
That's what we're doing right now. Thanks for waking up, Billy. Just in time. So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs. Tommy Manasco, Ricardo Iguereda, David Kaminga, Brandon Wone, pickups.
That's right.
Hex Matos, Michio Murakishi, Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, John Williams, James Pennington, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound, Brian Robison, Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Sant, Tim Nowak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. David Poe, Billy Spitfire,
That's right.
Unlimited.
and Congregation Gear Demos.
That is correct.
Thank you all.
Hey, just a quick update while we're talking about some of these people, our supporters. Congregation Demos we're going to have on the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, super
All
cool.
right.
They're doing some really great things up in the Pacific Northwest. And also, the aforementioned Johnny Morales, who is also a patron.
Yes.
We're going to talk to him about his shop.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, really exciting stuff coming up, as well as many, many others.
Many surprises. Many good things.
Many good things. All right, everybody. We need to Tony, where can people find your stuff?
Head over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the things that I do, things you can buy. But shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do in terms of pick guards. I might have some good advice for you. Pickguardian.com.
Very good. Very good. Billy?
You can find me on social media at Billy Spitfire or Billy Spitfire Unlimited. You can find me wherever you find music with the Mathematics from Columbus, Ohio. And otherwise, you might find me just wandering around the streets.
Or under the table pretty soon.
Yes.
John Esterly.
So you can find me at www.rarebuzzer.com. That's Rare Buzz with an ER at the end. That same Rare Buzzer, put an @ sign in front of it. That's where you can find me on all social media.
That's right.
And let's see, Rubidium is officially out in the world. We've sold through the first pre-order, second pre-order's up, but by the time you hear this, it might not be a pre-order anymore. You might be able to just get them and have them shipped because stuff is on the way.
Perfect.
That's right.
And make sure that you go to your website to enter into this. We're going to post pictures and everything up for this. So trust me, you'll get information about how to get in on this guitar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It'll be right there on the front page. Easy to find.
Great. Jared?
You can find me, jared.allen.brandon, on Instagram. Send me a message. We'll talk about guitar stuff.
Cool. Shoot me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me on Instagram @guitarknobs. We would really love to hear from you. Share your would you rathers too, you know?
Yeah.
Please.
Do that. Get some fresh would you rathers up in here. And also go to flinteffects.com and get your stomper for your said multi-effects pedal protection. Okay? And final plug, check out the Valentinos on Spotify. Yeah! We got new music coming up too that we're mastering with John.
Nice.
Here at Relay. We're excited about that. All right, everybody. Thank you for participating and hanging out with us and being part of what we do for 300 shows. We truly appreciate you and hope you continue to enjoy the show as we do. Good night. Goodbye. We love you. Have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
I farted and sneezed at the same time.
He had a snort.
With the tequila,
A monkey?
Yeah,
and the orange liqueur, and I have lime juice in the refrigerator.
my feet are cold.
Champagne.
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 Champagne. We're having champagne.
Well, sure. I mean, you know,
Sorry. What you looking for there, princess? Ready? It's coming. Ah! Whoa! Oh!
Where did it go?
5 days into my dietary plan.
really.
Thanks.
What is your plan?
Just don't eat that much.
This is the third outfit I've worn today. Fourth outfit I've worn today.
Why?
It's not too sweet. I repeat, it's not too sweet. It's
I don't
Dry
recall that
ginger
one.
ale. It's not too sweet.
Well, they broadcast it in the 1940s.
60s? Early 60s.
Yeah. What decade were you?
No, that's when they were driving by in the flatbed with the big speakers.
That's right, the big speakers.
There's a commercial outside.
Listen to that old-timey gospel music. Brought to you by Canada Dry.
Yeah.
It's not too sweet.
He ain't lying. Anyways, all right, here we go. And
You gonna clap us in?
You got to hit the record button.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.